right. Well, welcome to Morgan Oaks, the Green Burial Chronicles with Morgan Oaks. I am Stephanie, your host, and I'm here with the fabulous Helen Meads. And so, for those of you listening and watching, Helen is just an amazing woman, first off. I have learned to love you, and we've just become newfound friends thanks to Morgan Oaks. Unfortunately, the reason why you came to us is not exciting, but I feel like God put you in my life and Morgan Oaks' life for a reason. So Helen is one of the families that we served recently, and I had her come on today because I think she has a great story to share about her husband Don and who she is and who he was, and why they chose Morgan Oaks. I think it's a true testament to have someone who found us speak to why they love us now. And why Green Burial has been so special to you. So before we get into all of that, you guys, just a little bit about Helen. Here in the notes, she had to fill out some stuff about her, and she was like, "That's the hardest part. I know writing about yourself is so hard, but she's absolutely amazing. She's a gun store owner and firearm trainer here in Loomis, California, so near and dear. She's always giving me some advice to keep me safe, which I love. Yes. Thank you for looking out. It's family owned, veteran founded, and they serve all of the community. And I know it's kind of like when I walk in there, I think of Cheers. Remember that show?
Yeah.
Like her community just loves her. They hang out with her. They've been so supportive as you've gone through this. But I know that's not who you are. That's what you do. But tell me a little bit about yourself, your background. Who's Helen?
Well, California born,
Okay.
so lucky there. Grew up on a horse ranch in Gold Run, was given a pony, a dog, and a 22 as a little girl and told to get lost. So, and I moved around the country a bit, but I found my way back to the always to the mountains. And so I lived in Tahoe, raised my son in Tahoe for 20 plus years, and then found my way down into Sac Valley to help with my grandma. And I started a business I was in a relationship. We started a business down here. And then that kind of fell apart. And the Lord led me to my husband, which is the reason why I found Morgan Oaks, and why I now run a gun store. I actually, funny enough, I was going through my probably third midlife crisis. I'm sure some of you can relate. And I decided I was going to get gun training because my son, who he was leaving for the military, my old dog was dying. I was a single woman at this point, and I thought, I'm going to go get gun training because I love to travel and I'm going to learn how to protect myself. And I walked in the store that my husband ran at the time, and it literally was love at first sight. I knew at that moment there was something about him. I don't know. So now, 10 years later, I am running the gun store in the company that he left me and our children. So
I love this story.
Which is why I'm here.
I love the story of how you met. I think that's so cool. Name of the gun store?
It's Protection Plus Tactics. We're in Loomis. We specialize in CCW training, defensive training, beginner training too. We also have a full-scale gun store. It's beautiful. My husband did a great job setting us up, and in his infinite wisdom put me in charge of buying guns. And what I didn't realize at the time when he did it is that the gun industry is completely different than any other industry.
Yeah, I bet.
Because they make certain amount of certain guns and only certain people get them. So there's a hierarchy within the gun world when it comes to buying guns from distributors and things like that. Sure. Well, our distributors never talk to women. And so my husband realized that because it's all crouchy old gun store owners they got to deal with. So who gets the best guns?
You do.
The friendly voice on the other end of the line. So we get a lot of really great guns. If you're looking for something special or something you haven't been able to get, I'm really good at tracking down guns.
I love it.
Turns out my husband was right. I'm good at it.
I love it. He knew. He knew. Okay, so Don.
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about him. Who was he? What were some of your favorite memories of him?
Oh man, he was just, like I said, it was love at first sight. And we were later in life relationship. We had grown kids, but the kids are I still work with one of his kids and really close with his kids because they're super important. He was a Marine first and foremost. If you know Marines or are a Marine, you never stop being a Marine, even when you get out of the Corps. He grew up in the area too, so very passionate about this area and just being an asset to the community. He was blown up in Iraq and kind of went through a lot of struggles in life before he figured it out. And we both kind of had lost everything when we met. We had stepped away from relationships and just things. And when we got together, it was just, I don't know, we just had a plan. I stepped right into the business with him. He was so nice about bringing me in, and we just started running the business together, and it just did so well. He was a very dynamic individual. We actually were joking the other day. He was like an M&M, like hard, crusty shell on the outside, but soft and mushy on the inside. He was definitely intense, had a big love of guns, like the history of guns and warfare, and he spent a lifetime training in martial arts and boxing and you name it. Like if it came to hand-to-hand combat or combatives of any kind or knife fighting, he was trained by some of the best. I mean, I used to laugh all the time, like, people don't realize how close to death they are. He can literally kill you with his thumb.
Crazy,
like,
right?
Yeah. It was very interesting, but at the same point, so artistic. He graduated from college with a master's in arts, and like there's paintings all over my house he painted. He was an incredible musician. I have beautiful guitars hanging on my wall. He played music all the time, and he wrote published books. I mean, just like a man's man.
Yeah.
Like fully, like I just struggled to keep up.
Yeah. That's so great. And from what I've learned, because I've been with you since you came out there, and everybody that I've met that was either at Dawn's service or, like I told you, coming to visit, has just said such great things about him. And not that everyone doesn't say great things about people, but to see a community come together and just love on him. And like Helen said before she got here that, someone came to the gun store and was just heard of the passing of Dawn. And, they're still so emotional. The word is still spreading. So he was, from what I have learned from our community and you, just a great man.
Very loved and respected. Man's man.
Yeah.
He'd tell you the way it was. He didn't mince words, but at the same point, it was always with the intention of like, I want to help you.
Yeah.
Like he loved sharing and teaching and just, I think so. He kind of grew up in a family that I called it raised by wolves, like, just drug addicts and alcoholics. And I feel like because he had a few people that stepped into his life through that really helped him, that he wanted to do that for other people. He wanted to share what he knew and give that to people. And he had a way, because you can know a subject, but teach a subject is something completely different. And he had a way of I'd watch him morph for people, like people that come in for gun lessons, whether it be somebody with a high level of gun knowledge versus somebody just beginning. And depending on who they were, he could just morph into what they needed to teach them so they could get comfortable, because he really loved guns. He loved teaching, and he just loved empowering people. I think he did more than that, which is incredible.
That's great. Yeah. So tell me what led you to Morgan Oaks. How did you find us? Let's go through the process a little bit.
Well, it's interesting because he was a veteran. So funny enough, a few months before my husband passed, a lady moved in next door who did cremations and burials and things like that. Yes. And we thought it was so funny because here we are, a gun store. So you got guns and, cremations, and we'd kind of laugh about it. And, so when he died, and I realized I had to figure this out. Of course, I'm going to go knock on her door. And she is just the most lovely lady. Hopefully you could put her information in the notes, because if anybody needs to use, maybe they should use her. And she was telling us, because he was a veteran, there's a veteran, they'll bury him, and they'll pay for your cremations and those kind of things. And they have a really nice, cemetery out in Davis. And I was like, that's too far for me.
Yeah.
And I really wanted something. Actually didn't even know something like you existed, but I told her, I was like, I really want a pretty cemetery, someplace that I want to visit him because I was heartbroken and I wanted to visit him. And she said, there's this new place out in Lincoln and it's totally different. And it's where I'm thinking about getting a spot. And she's like, it's like oak trees and walking paths and you can't drive through it. And there's no standing headstones. And I was like, wait, what? There's something like that? And so his daughter looked it up and she started showing me pictures and we were just immediately like, yeah, that's it. And I live really close to it.
Right.
So I visit quite a bit and it feels good and it's been really healing. Unfortunately, cemeteries, 100% of people who live die. So we're going to,
you can't escape it.
You can't escape it. No, the odds are not in your favor.
No.
But it is something in our society that we just fully hide from. And we can't. It has to be a conversation within families. I didn't expect my husband to die as soon as he did. That's for sure.
Because he was
just 58.
Yeah.
And really, really active and like healthy. And I found out he was sneaking McDonald's on the side a lot more than I expected.
We all have our vices. Okay. So I get it.
And I guess it was a joke amongst all his
friends.
That is
like
people
funny.
Would call up and be like, hey, I'm going to come visit you. And he'd be like, sneak some McDonald's in the door because it was a no-no in my, because I am super healthy. And
right now, Helen's Dawn.
Well, I had no idea until I started going over the credit card statements. And I'm like, how much McDonald's was
my gosh. That's so funny.
Yeah. So, but I guess if he was going to pass early, at least he got all the McDonald's he wanted.
That's what I said to him when my dad passed. The last thing he wanted was a chocolate malt. And he was super sick, right? And I didn't know how sick he was in those 7 days. And I told his best friend, I was like, he wants a chocolate malt. Like, I'm not getting him. It's going to make his heart pull. And my dad's best friend, Dave, looked at me and he said, give the man what it. Yeah. Malt. And so I'm always telling people, if you know the end is coming, whatever they want, they could have 5 chocolate malts. But I love that Don got his McDonald's.
Well, and not only that, but he died on the 4th of July. Being a patriot, it just makes sense.
Oh my! But I don't know that I realized that.
Yeah,
okay.
He died on the couch next to me on 4th of July, and we had a wonderful day together. Yeah. So bless the Lord for giving me that. But I had fed him all his favorite food that day. And the last thing he ate, it's so disgusting, but it was chocolate flavored Lucky Charms, which was his favorite cereal. It's so gross. And I shouldn't have even bought it for him. And I bought all his favorite foods that day.
Oh my gosh.
And that was a lot. He had literally just finished a bowl of that and died. And I thought, and it's weirdly been comforting to know that he had some of his favorite foods because he was so food driven.
That's funny. Me too. I am too. So I get it, Dawn. I get it, Dawn. I get it. Okay. So you came to us with this vision basically of what you wanted, didn't know we existed.
Yes.
And I know now you're there every Sunday. And what has that been like for you?
It's actually been wonderfully healing. So one of the wonderful things my husband gave me before he passed is he brought me back to the church and to faith. And so Sunday I go to church, which I miss him terribly. That first Sunday after he passed, I went to church without him. That was really hard. And then after I get back from church, I change my clothes, I grab the dog, and I go out to Morgan Oaks. And it's his dog. It's my dog now. Well, our dog, but it was really his dog. And so I take the dog out to see him, and I walk the paths, and I listen to usually Christian podcasts or something, or I just pray and talk to him while I'm out there and tell him about the week. And it just feels like, although I've lost him, I haven't lost him, because I do think their veil is thinner to us than it is to us to them. And it's just been nice to have something that's pretty and close and that feels good to go visit. I think if it was just like a normal cemetery, I'd probably walk in really quick and be like, yep, okay, I'm out.
Yeah.
But it's not like that. And even yesterday I went and it was so beautiful and the flowers are all out, and there was this is a great story. There was an old guy just sitting there and he had a walker boat, the one that has a seat.
Yeah.
And he was all by himself, and I thought that was interesting. So I just, me being nosy, I walked up and I was like, hey, how you doing? You know, and I'm like, are you visiting somebody? And he goes, and he pointed up the hill and he said, my wife. And I said, oh, is she, my husband's up there too, because it was close to where Don was buried. And he goes, "Oh no, that's her walking up there. We bought places in here so we come visit." And I thought, how neat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in no condition to go visit, but she likes to go visit where we're going to be.
I love that. So for the listeners and those of you watching that have never been to Morgan Oaks and are probably like, that's really weird. Yeah. I will tell you, we have regular visitors that come and visit their plots. It's so interesting to me because think about a traditional cemetery or a conventional. You would never be like, I want to go look at my plots. We have a lot of people, we're known for planting trees, as you know. And so a lot of people will plant their trees and go and visit their trees. And that's so special to us because they want to watch them grow. They want, like, we have people that will show off their plots to their kids and their family. Like,
I love that.
It's different. It feels so different. So I love that they were out there visiting and it's cool.
Good. And it's interesting because you'll see, it's a little more busy now that the weather's nicer. I saw a lot of people Sunday, but even young kids were there. Just taking a hike around the nature area, which is so good for a generation to have a place they can go and hike and just like feel. It's just so pretty out there too. It's just healing. It's been pretty all season. So I started coming late summer last year. And then now I've gone all the way through winter into spring. And I keep seeing snakes, but that's my thing. That's a whole other story.
Don't say that out loud because
it's garden snakes. That's the good news.
Good.
So yeah.
I'll be missing work for the next however many months while snake season's out.
Yeah.
No, not for me.
Well, they're important, but I'm the same way. I have a huge fear of snakes, but I see them every time I walk out the door. It's so weird. Even when I lived in Tahoe, there's a burrow snake that nobody ever sees ever. Every time I hiked, I saw one.
Interesting.
It's super interesting. Don thought it was super funny. Don loves snakes. So
maybe that's like him visiting you.
I think so. That's why I even brought it up. So I think that's Don being like, hey.
Sneaky, very sneaky. Okay, so as far as the burial process and just the whole thing for you at Morgan Oaks, like how was that for you? I know he passed, cremated, and you buried him very quickly as a cremation. Most cremations wait. And like I know for me, it was very healing to lay my dad to rest when I did it. So for you, how was it?
I guess I didn't realize that people wait so long and wait to put headstones up and stuff, which was a little wild to me because I really felt like it was my duty to my husband to make that happen quickly and to give him a place before, and to give people a place to go visit him. I did not want to. I felt like we waited a long time. Like we waited 3 or 4 months just because I didn't think the kids were quite ready for the funeral.
Sure.
But I really wanted to show him through my actions how much I still loved him. So I want to get it done.
That's such a different way to think about it because I waited because selfishly I wanted to hold on to my dad. And then I felt very called to lay him to rest, that I was doing him a disservice. And I didn't, while I know he's not there and probably you get that, right?
Yeah.
It was a place for me to just go see him and love him and remember him. So that's a great way to look at it. And I think for a lot of people, it's hard to heal when you don't have a place to go and visit and see. And
then I feel like it's just hanging over your head too. Like even I knew that his celebration of life was going to be massive just because he was so loved, and it was. So pulling that together and just needing to do it and get it done was also a big weight on my head. Like I really wanted to. Like I said, it was really important. I wanted my husband to know that I was even with our business, like. He was so important to me and was such a doer and such a man of action that my actions, even today, a lot of what I do and what I choose to do, I think about God and then him. Like, what are they? Is this going to be an okay action?
Yeah.
Within the store, within the relationships, the friendships I form, and those kind of things. And getting him buried was part of that. Was like. I wanted him to know that that he wasn't forgotten.
No.
That I'm doing the things that a good wife should do. And
I love that.
Kind of things.
And I live by the motto, how you do one thing is how you do everything. And I would say you probably do too.
Yes.
And so I love that. So as we kind of wrap things up, I know we've talked a lot about Morgan Oaks has been super healing for you. And just how you've kind of walked through this process and kind of found us by just not even knowing we existed. But like, what would you like the people listening to know about Morgan Oaks? What are the things that
you
you
guys
like?
are great and
Thank you.
made it just phenomenal. Honestly, the whole process was so good, and like you were so friendly and just understanding. And um, I would say that you really need to find a place you do want to go visit them, that you want to feel good that you laid them to rest at. Um, for veterans' wives, there's a lot. All my costs were reimbursed,
Awesome.
all of them.
Great.
Which I had no idea. That's not
I
why I
didn't
did
know
it.
that either.
But yeah, I submitted the forms and all of it was reimbursed. So veterans, don't worry about not burying them in a veteran cemetery. That it won't be right away, but you will be reimbursed for those costs, which that absolutely should happen for veterans.
Absolutely.
The costs of their sacrifice should be reimbursed to their widows.
That's just
their,
a small portion of the things that should be done. But yes.
Amen. Yes. And I really think that on top of that, find a place that you want to be laid to rest next to them too, because I bought a spot for myself
you did.
next to them. And I feel good about like one day being there and my kids wanting to visit me there. I think that's really important, and it's just beautiful. It's healing there. It's a healing place. It feels good there. There's a good energy.
It's not sad and somber. I mean, it's a sad thing, but like you said, we're not going to not go there. I say probably in every podcast, you're guaranteed two things, taxes and death. Like that's it. So
99%, 100% of people who live die.
Yeah, exactly. So find a space where you can enjoy being there and remembering them and recognizing them. We have a lot of people that will bury their loved one, and it's scary to then talk about death. Yeah. And so they don't do theirs. But now we've seen an influx of people being like, well, if grandma's here, we all want to be here. Like, how cool is that to be like, generations are going to be laid to rest? Like, that's really important to me to know that families can come out and say, oh, my mom's here. I want to be with my mom. My dad's here or whatever. So especially we have a lot of native people, right? Meaning like Lincoln natives. They've been there forever. And a lot of our neighbors are finding us. And so they have lived there for 30 years. And now they're like, we can just come down the street and be laid to rest, which is so cool, you know? And Helen did speak about her dog. So Loki is amazing. And he comes and visits and runs with you every time. And
he loves it. He gets so excited. He knows exactly where we're going.
Isn't that funny? Yeah. He knows that he's going to Morgan Oaks. We have a lot of dogs like him that come out and they know Morgan Oaks the minute they jump out of the car. So for the listeners, we're very dog friendly.
Yes. They even provide bags and places to put your waste.
Do. Yeah. We do. We have an event on Sunday. It's a dog Easter party. So dogs are going to Easter hunt. So I asked Helen before she got here to bring Loki because he's just the best.
Yeah, if you come to our gun store, you'll meet him too. He's always there.
He's on guard.
Yeah. I'm his emotional support person. So
I love that. Well, Helen, are there any last things you want to share about Dawn's legacy, about you, about Morgan Oaks, about anything?
No, I would say that unfortunately, you will be put on the forge of adversity in life, and people you love are going to pass. That's what's going to happen. That's part of life. There's two ways to deal with it. You can either pivot toward the bitterness that could bring, or you could pivot toward the promise that the sun comes up tomorrow. Oh, so good. And that is one thing that I think Morgan Oaks kind of helps with that healing process, is putting your people in a place that it does make sense. I don't want to cry.
You can cry.
It's really important to feel good even though they're gone, it's really important to feel good. I didn't realize it, where your people go. And Morgan Oaks, you guys are just great. The whole team's great. The place feels wonderful. The people you meet when you go visit your people are great.
Yes.
Yeah, it just has, it's important. But I will tell you this, if you lose somebody, don't let it make you bitter. Live your life for them, because they're not here, and they'd want you to go on and be happy. Even if you live your life in the thought that your actions are accountable to them, that's fine. I do it all the time. Sure. It's important to me. I really want to get my husband's legacy. I really want to honor his legacy and what he did for me and for our kids. But at the same point, I wouldn't let it make me bitter because my husband would want me to bloom with life.
Exactly. I love that.
And one day we'll be together again. And I'm going to get a high five from him for doing well. And I'm going to kick him for leaving me so soon. And Jesus is just going to shake his head and be like, she deserved it.
And also for not telling you about McDonald's.
I mean, come on.
That's so funny. Well, I'm just grateful that we've gotten to serve you and your family, and I've gotten to get to know all of you, and you're just very special people. And so I thank you for that and all you do for the community. And I love you guys that she shared. It's not just my staff loves you, but it's who you meet out there and the relationships and the community that we're creating.
Yes.
I think it gives hope, it gives joy, and it gives peace.
Yes.
And so that's really what the vision is for me, is one, to give back. Like, I think of Don and I think all the stories I've heard, not only did he get to give back in his career and his life, but now he's laid to rest in a place where he also gets to give back his body, his life, and his family, and his legacy. And so I love that. So thank you. Thank you for taking time for me, our community of listeners. And for those of you listening, obviously you're listening to our podcast, so you found us here, but you can find us on Instagram, Morgan Oaks Eternal, TikTok now.
Oh.
We're very fancy. So at Morgan Oaks Eternal, Facebook, Morgan Oaks Eternal Preserve, YouTube. I mean, you name it, we're on all of them. So make sure you check us out. We have lots of things going on this month and moving forward. But thank you all for listening. As I always say, walk gently, remember deeply, and celebrate the legacy of life.
Yes.